we become legends.
Today's Titan Talk discussed a bunch of god stats like popularity and win rate, the Neath skin AI accusations, and a whole lot more. So without further ado, let's jump into the recap. First up, Osiris Aspect is now live in game if you want to try that out. For those unaware, his aspect turns him into essentially like a bruiser intelligence mage. There's also a Halloween art contest going on right now that's going to run through October 24th, and the winners will be announced on the 31st, as there will be a Titan Talk on Halloween. Someone asked if they have any plans to refine the new match lobby as they feel it is worse in some areas than what we had before, and Killian said they do plan to update some things along those lines. They're looking at moving the pick order and ban list widget as it's not really in the best place right now and might be a bit too large. Also, they're looking into giving players the option to have the god menu expanded by default. Also, aspect icons are transparent for some reason and that's not intended, so they're going to fix that as well. They will be working on improvements to this over time. They just wanted to get it shipped out as early as possible. There was a question on when the next big UI feature or overhaul will be now that they're done with the match lobby, and Killian said they're not quite ready to share anything concrete on that just yet, but they do have quite a few things they want to update in regards to UI that could be coming next. Someone asked what their general goals and objectives are for the full release of the game, and Killian said he's not going to go over an actual list of things they want to get done, but generally they feel like there's still work to be done on the new player experience, high-level strategic depth, especially in Conquest, as well as increasing the amount of overall content in the game, which presumably a large part of that is getting all the gods ported. The Neith misdiagnosis card art was brought up, which, if you weren't aware, there's been some discussions in the community both around it looking so different from the actual skin in-game, but also around it potentially looking AI generated, as the style is very different from most of their other 2D card arts. Kilgun said he has no reason to believe it was generated in any way, and it went through the same process they always have with making the 2D card art for skins. He did say they outsourced some of their art, but it is still to real artists, and they follow the process of that and have no reason to believe that they are generated. Someone asked if there's any idea on when the next brand new god will be added and if they plan to port all of the Smite 1 gods before adding any new ones, and Kilgun said no, they don't think they're going to port all the Smite 1 gods before adding any new ones, but right now their current focus is on god ports and launching those with aspects. There are several brand new gods in some stage of development or another, but they are not currently being worked on and their focus is on ports right now. Kilgun also mentioned fan favorite gods when talking about that previous question, and chat asked what he means by that and what are the most fan favorites that haven't been ported yet, and Kilgun actually pulled up the data on that. He did of course state that popularity is just one factor in what they look at for god ports, so just because a god is one of the most popular ones yet to be ported doesn't necessarily mean they are the next to come. There's obviously technical difficulty in implementing them, a balance of playstyles and roles, etc. The numbers discussed here were a combination metric that takes into account historical Smite 1 popularity, current Smite 1 popularity, as well as community surveys like on Reddit or my own surveys that I do every 6 months or so. Kilgun had Hinduman try and guess the top 5, and Atlas, Tyr, and Ratatoska were mentioned, but Kilgun said they weren't quite top 5 but were top 10. The actual top 5 were Surtur at number 1, Cthulhu at number 2, Discordia at number 3, Morgan Le Fay at number 4, and Apwash at number 5, but Skadi was an extremely close number 6. Chat followed up by asking about the bottom 5. Again, this list isn't definitively saying these gods will be last to be ported, and there are other factors, but the list was as follows: Set at 5th from the bottom, Chernobog at 4th, Bakasura at 3rd, Freya at 2nd, and finally Camazotz was the lowest scorer by this metric. Hinduman also pulled some win rate stats for Plat 1 and above in ranked, and had Kilgun guess who was at the bottom and top 5. The bottom performers right now were Awilix, Hercules, Barry, and Osiris, with Barry taking the absolute bottom spot. They also did the top 5 of course, and those were Xbalanque, Mulan, Mercury, Agni, and Bellona. Of course, keep in mind that this is for a wide variety of skill levels, and win rate isn't the only determining factor on a god's overall strength. For example, Morrigan's win rate is probably boosted higher than it would be because only dedicated mains of the god play her, and they do well because they're very good with the character. If suddenly everyone started playing Morrigan, her win rate would almost certainly go down. So don't take these placements as indications that these top gods will be nerfed or bottom gods will get buffed, though it is of course a big factor, and we have seen nerfs for Xbalanque recently, an indirect nerf to Mercury by hitting Linnean Bow, and buffs to Awilix and Barry recently who were in the bottom performers. But yeah, don't take these stats as gospel in terms of nerfs and buffs, basically. Someone brought up Smite 2 on Switch 2, and Kilgun said they don't currently have any plans to release it on that platform, and they don't even have a dev kit for it. He mentioned that Switch had a notoriously long certification process for patches, and that one of the main reasons they went to a 4-week patch cycle on Smite 1 was because they simply couldn't push Switch updates every 2 weeks. So right now, I doubt they would even consider launching on Switch with how quickly they're patching. Someone brought up the account boosters from the daily chest and how they're not showing up, and Hindu said they are aware of an issue with them not displaying how long your boost is, but they should still be working in the background. Kilgun also mentioned that they are a 3-day boost, not a 30-day boost, so if you watch my recent data video on the Wandering Path, that info is incorrect, so apologies for that. I hadn't rolled a booster myself yet, so couldn't verify when I made that video, but someone who had rolled one told me it was 30 days, but they must have already had one on or something like that. Chat was asking for double worshippers, and Hindu said they will do one soon, potentially for ESET's release weekend or Halloween weekend or both. Someone asked what the most amount of overall stars earned on a god is, and Kilgun said he doesn't have the data, but it is almost certainly Neith. In terms of which player has the most overall stars on any one god, he thinks it was a Hell player in Smite 1. And finally, someone asked about the solo queue Conquest Cups that were being worked on a while back before Max left the company, and Hindu said he has sort of taken over a lot of that stuff, but currently there's no immediate plans for it, as there's a lot of back-end work that needs to be done to make it work and feel rewarding for players, but it is something he'd like to get back to at some point. But that's everything discussed on Titan Talk. Don't forget to drop a like before you leave, and I'll catch you guys for another one later on. Have a great day, and peace out, you nerds.